have a very, very special guest, Steph from Baltimore, right? Yes, she's from Baltimore. She came all the way here to meet us and tell you about MAGFest and the connection of MAGFest to Riverwash. So, warm welcome, please.
Hi. Hi. I don't give many presentations, so. Let's see. MAGFest is the music and gaming festival, and we are a nonprofit that puts on video game events throughout the year. But our biggest one it's in January. It is the worst time, but at least we know that it won't ever butt up against another demo party, right? So I'm gonna play a video, and it will tell you more than I can about MAGFest, about what it is. We're like 20,000 people now. It's huge, but we've been around. We're going on our 17th year this next January in 2017. So I've been around since 4. So we just did 16. So I've had 13 MAGFests. So I've been around for a very long time. When it was very small, like this. This is nice. This is perfect, right? And then we just kept growing because there's many sections to MAGFest. We are the community. We don't have sponsors the same way this does. We just don't do it. And we're not anti-sponsor. We're more anti-bad deal. So any sponsor that tries to come in, they want things. And we don't want to give them those things. So like control or power or just putting Doritos or like Mountain Dew or all sorts of things. Yeah. So we work with many other communities in order to make MAGFest what it is, and it just kept growing. The nearest sponsor we might get is like if somebody wanted to bring it. We have a giant LAN area, and somebody might bring in some public machines for us to use, and we put a banner up. That's it, right? It doesn't affect the whole event. I'm gonna stop talking for a minute and show the video, and then that'll be way better. Can you put this up there? Thank you very much. That is MAGFest in a nutshell. So you saw, like, we have about 300 free play arcade machines. We have a giant area for consoles. So we have, like, everything retro to new stuff like PS4. It's at the Gaylord National Harbor. It's right near Washington, D.C. So it's right near our capital. It's just outside. It is gigantic. we don't deserve to be there, but we need to be there because the way MAGFest works, we're 24/7, and so we don't close. So the only way we can do that is in a hotel. So once you go to a convention center in America, we have to deal with unions, and they close. They close at like 5 o'clock, and we're like, no, everything happens at night. So we need it open. So the way the Gaylord works, it is a hotel and convention center put together in one. So we can use, but the whole thing is set up as the hotel. So it can stay open 24/7 the whole time, and it's great. You have a question?
No offense to Faye, but since it's the last party, last Riverwash in Poland, can you make next Riverwash in the same hotel?
Yeah, sort of. It won't be called Riverwash, but Faye is going to be helping with the organizing of it, and Jakob and Boris, and I've had Mac. Mac has come and helped us the last 2 years. We've had y'all come over and like help us present and teach our community what the demo scene is and how to put on a demo party, so that we can do it ourselves in 2019. So that's the idea, is that we prepared our community to teach them how these work. And Mac put on a great workshop with Shader Toy. Oh, and thank you. And there was a small competition. So I guess, right, there were like 18 people in the room or doing the competition, and then like 10 of them actually put in for the thing, right? And so that's like a big number, and it was awesome. So this year there'll be a whole room dedicated to a demo party like this, and a screen and a projector, fancy projector, and they will run it because I'm not sure what else needs. They tell me, and I'm an event organizer, so they tell me what they need, and then I give it to them, and then y'all do it. It's really gonna be that simple. Hang on, I have something else. This is going to be really basic. It's a very small deck. I've kind of already gone through some of this because I'm nervous. I've not done this before. So this is you saw on the video, but yeah, this is us just playing music and a concert, and we just have a lot of fun. Everybody just comes together, and as a volunteer organization, we're all just passionate about making it happen. We have a lot of departments that make it happen too. So all the departments work together. We used to be much smaller, of course, and then we built up because we're the gaming community, and we're the music gaming community, and we're also like a bunch of other little communities. So like anime people will come in, and anime people are happy to be there. We have cosplayers. We have this thing. We have other communities like Super Art Fight comes in. Oh, thank you. Hi, I can see you again. And like Super Art Fight is just this other thing. They have people up here with a big canvas, and then they go through with the audience. They spin a wheel that people have given names to before, and then they spin the wheel. They find something that'll be like, oh, it's Batman. Oh, and then it's cartwheels. So then they have to do the art in front of you, and who can make the best Batman doing a cartwheel, I guess. It sort of does something like that. And then we give it to charity at the end. So we sell it. We do a lot of charitable things also with, we have hang on, there's a slide for that. Well, hang on, we'll get there. Okay. No, these are all out of order. Sorry. Maybe I'll go into this and then we'll go into charity. It was a long time ago. It was started by this guy named Joe, but then he didn't want to do it a second year. So our Brendan, our inverse phase, he picked it up, and then he made it for several other years. We kept bouncing around from hotel to hotel because no one wanted us a second time. We're a bunch of...
Something familiar.
Yeah.
So you do it right.
Yeah, we're a bunch of rowdy kids, right? So it's like, no one wanted us to come back until we had one hotel that said, no, come to us. And we're like, are you sure? are you high? Are you sure? So we went there, and then we were there for 4 years. And that's where we grew the most. We started there at like 500, and by the end of 4 years, we made it to 3,000. It was nuts. I don't know how we did that. But it's mostly word of mouth because, like I say, we don't have sponsors. We don't have lots of money. We just there was a point where we had press people come in, right? And we'd be like, "Oh, you're going to write something." They write something about you, right? And then you give them a free pass. And then you're supposed to take care of them or feed them or something. I don't know. We never did that. But we had some press people that got really bitchy. And we weren't taking care of them. So we're like, that's it. No more free passes for press. We don't care. We don't care anymore. Just forget it. And
Same here.
yeah, it's like, what's the point? Like, we all know each other. We know what's happening. If you want to come, you come. And that's the point of MAGFest, is that you bring your friends, or you meet friends there, and then you just make memories out of all the stuff that's going on. Between the games and the music and the panels and the guests that we bring in. We have mages. It's our music and gaming education symposium. Like, they put on intellectual stuff. We have professors that teach like how to make games, and they come in and teach people, do panels on how to make games. We have game jams. So kind of like this, where there's like it's a short competition, and they come in and they just make games together. They're just strangers or friends. They come in and they have like 48 hours to make a game, and then they present it, and we have a ton of just wacko stuff that happens. We have an escape room that people just sign up for, and they do. We have an entire tabletop section. We have magic tournaments. We have indie games, so they're indie video games and indie tabletop games. So you just make something, you sign up, and then you bring it, and then people play it, and you get beta tested. It's great. So this is a picture from the Earthbound Papas. We bring in big guests and composers for video games. So Earthbound Papas is Uematsu Nobuo. Anybody know? A Final Fantasy composer, like big Final Fantasy. Like, he did like everything for a long time, up until 10 or something. And so he has a band, so we brought the band and him in, and that was a big deal for us because that was our first year in the Gaylord. We didn't have the big room. We didn't have the money for that. All of our money comes from the attendees, because no sponsors, so it's all from the paid tickets and badges. And then we also have like a supporter pack, and then we just give them swag. We're like, here's stuff. have fun with the stuff. And like a free T-shirt or whatever, and stuff. Let's see. So, oh gosh, yeah. We have games on film. It's a film festival. That's the Indie Game Showcase. Was the video game indies, bands, guest speakers. So yeah, there's Nobuo Uematsu. Ellen McLean is the voice of GLaDOS in Portal. Okay. We have Austin Winter. He is a composer for Journey. That new one, the water one. Emu? Okay, yeah, he does a bunch of things. And then Super Art, like I mentioned. We have Overclocked Remix, has been around forever. They helped grow MAGFest immensely, because they're a bunch of people they're a community that just kept getting bigger, and they make video game remixes. So they'll take a song from a video game, and then they remix it into whatever they want to, and then they throw it on the site. And there's organizers for that, so we bring them in and stuff. Let's see. Materia Collective is a new one that's been coming up. They're like live musicians. So they're like over 200 people that get together and they make albums. But the main guy, he's big into video game copyright. So they make it legal in order to use the game music. It's a big deal. America's terrible when it comes to legalizing things. I mentioned mages, arcades, consoles. Yes, we have Rock Band, and we have DDR, and we have all the fun things. We have this thing called Killer Queen. Oh, Killer Queen is so cool. It was an indie game, right? So first it was a field game. So people would run around with balls and swords and shields and stuff, and they just run around like people, right? And then they're like, hey, we can gamify this. So they made it into an arcade game. So, but the way they make the arcade machines, there's 2 of them. So there's red and there's gold. And there's 5 people on each team playing the same game, but they're against each other. So, and there's a queen, and then you have the followers, and there's 3 different ways to win, and it's really fun. It gets really competitive when people actually know what they're doing. It is really fun. But it was an indie game that became an arcade game. Oh, thank you. So we have all kinds of stuff that at work. Okay, we have charity. There we go. We'll get back around. We give to many other places because we're a nonprofit, and we don't keep our money, you know. So Child's Play is a major one that we make. It was created by Penny Arcade Expo. Penny Arcade is a webcomic that turned into an event. And now there's 4 of them in the world, I think. There's one on West, East, South, Australia. I don't know why we keep going to Australia. They made Child's Play. Basically, it is a foundation that gives video games to sick kids in hospitals so that they have something to do so that they don't, lose hope because they're not well. And they're not bored out of their minds sitting around in a hotel or hospital. We do lots of... So all this stuff, we have a big auction at the end. This was one of our ideas that we had before. It's created by this guy on a whim. That's our big Adam, and he's like table flipping for charity. So you know how you table flip out of rage, yeah? Yeah. So they get a bunch of like reusable stuff, and they have like they block off a big area, right? So people aren't in it, and you pay money to put different things on the table. So my favorite one was always like anti-Valentine's Day, right? So they set up the whole table as like pretty Valentine's Day, and there's like glitter, and there's like little hearts, and all kinds of paper plate and everything, and then you get to flip it out of rage, and you pay a certain amount of money, and then depending on what it is, like they've done stacks of tables. They've done you put a laptop on it, you could smash the laptop. If anybody has ever seen The Office where they smashed a printer, yeah. So it was just a fun thing to do, and it would make a few $1,000s, but they only just stopped doing it this year, and I'm very sad. But we still have an auction. We have other communities that come in that do stuff too. We have a 501st. So Star Wars, we have a large community that dresses up like stormtroopers. And they come in and they have like Zapper games or something to play with the kids, and it's actually really fun as stormtroopers. It just proves how bad they are at shooting. Okay. Let's see. So MAGFest used to be just the one event. So we see people once a year, most people, just like this. Unless you go to other parties, right? There's just one. And that's how it grew so much, is that there was only one. And then at one point we're like, hey, let's go camping. There was one where nearby. Yes, no, it's not. I'm not even kidding. They bring their computers sometimes. They'll bring their like DSs and their Switches now, I guess, whatever. And otherwise, we go camping, and it's just another place for us to hang out together. Just another camping, and we camp.
If you consider camping and you like it, I recommend Polish sea and Mielno.
It's a good time, honestly, right? Well, it would be. Anyway, I wish I could. I'll come back. Yeah. That'll be it. I have the knack for it, and I have friends, so it's cool. So we started with Magstock, and then we have BitGen Gamerfest. It's one day of concerts in a single venue, and it's just all day. It starts at like 1 p.m. and it goes until 1 a.m. and it's all day of just concert after concert. There's downstairs, there's upstairs, so When downstairs is playing, upstairs isn't, and then when they're done, upstairs starts, and it's like constantly there's something going on, and it's great. MAGFest Laboratories came along when we're like, hey, so we've been doing all these MAGFests at the Gaylord, the big one, why don't we go back to our old one to train people? So we went to our old venue that we were there for 4 years, that we grew so fast at, and because we love that place. They wanted us there, and we love being there, and those 4 years are all kind of blurred together in my memories, trying to remember which year is which. But it was so great that we just was like, hey, let's go back and do a smaller one. So now we still have smaller ones like this, and it still has the same sort of open feeling where it's community, it's togetherness, it's just about having fun and being together, and just that's really all MAGFest really is. That's it. And then now we just had our second year like 3 weeks ago, and on the West Coast where we go to California. So we're trying to like make another one there, and it was difficult because we had to go there for a few years. The same way y'all have come out the last 2 years, we had to prepare that entire community over there to, because we're not bullies. We don't want to come in and just like an expo. They will do that. They're sick. It's terrible. Commercialized. So we went in and we're like talking to the other anime cons, there's other gaming cons and stuff like that. Okay, hang on. We're gonna switch gears. I will talk about the demo party now. How about that? So since you guys have been coming out for the past 2 years, we're trying to do a demo party there. So the idea is that if I can talk. The way it's been working is that we have the Embassy of Poland and the Cultural Institute that is attached to it. And they're the ones who wanted to bring people, because in Poland you have a great video game community here just by itself, right? So with like Witcher, and there's other games, I can't remember now, Witcher comes to my mind first. And so they wanted to promote more, and so we're the way to do that, because MAGFest is so many different things that we just bring in more communities, and we want to blend everybody together. We want to learn from each other and just make a big splash out of stuff and have everybody have a good time. So with the embassies and the institutes, the idea is to talk to more. It's really hard. I have 0 time, but I want to talk to more embassies of different countries to see if anybody from the demo party wants to come over, and they will pay to bring you over. But that is a theory. I don't know if it'll work yet. I'm still working on it. I'm working on it. It could happen. It could. It's already happened once. Lightning can strike again with another country. Maybe. I'm going to try. It's worth asking. I mean, what's the worst? They're going to say no. At least I ask. And at least they know about it. And maybe they'll come back to me in like 2 years after they see, what we're doing. I was asked yesterday what our goal is. We have like 2.5, whatever, demo parties that happen in North America. Like, America doesn't have much of this. So we figure it's not enough, right? And everybody is getting older. The same thing at MAGFest. Like I said, this is my 13th one. I started this, I was in my mid-20s, right? So I'm older now. We're all getting older. We're having kids. We're moving on. Organizers are retiring. Like, this is what's going to constantly happen unless we teach and grow more people, younger people, and then tell them how hard it is to make things with like older technology and that sort of thing. Like, you have to revive it, and the only way to do that is to have older people talk to younger people to teach them how and to show them how to do it, so that when we retire and move on, they can step up and move forward. That way the demo party and the demo scene continues, yeah? So that's kind of the idea, that we bring it to MAGFest and use MAGFest more as a vehicle for that to happen. Because we have the promotion, we have the people, that people come already, and we've already seen it. We saw it with the competition and with the workshop, and And it can only get more fun, and it can only grow, and we can grow it there, and then people from America will probably go to Revision and wherever else, and and then it'll be a bigger blending, and we share the fun, right? So I think that is our most noble goal.
I wanted to add, just for us, it's like obvious that we can go to a demo party.
Oh, yeah.
It's in a remote location in Poland, which is completely low. But the States is like the whole Europe. And imagine that you want to go to MAGFest, but you live in California. So you created MAGFest, so those people don't have to fly like 6 hours, I don't know how long, 6 hours or 4 hours there, which is a problem and it's expensive. So yeah, you want to like put places on the map so they can get there.
Yeah, so our mission for MAGFest is something like the preservation of video game music and appreciation of gaming in the world and that sort of thing. But our unofficial one is to to make the world a better place through video games. It's kind of it. So we want to take over. we want to take over the world. So we're slowly doing that. We'll take over North America first, and then we have these things called game overs, and it's basically like that BitGen. So it's a day or it's just a night. So we'll get like 5 video game bands together in a venue. We'll set up some gaming spots. We'll do some tournaments. And everybody loves Smash Bros, right? So we'll just do a tournament or whatever, and we'll have some prizes and such. And so we do game overs all over the place. We have one down in Richmond, Virginia. We'll have one in Baltimore sometimes. We've had one in Vancouver, Canada. There's one in Brazil because there's a Mega Driver is a band that's down there, and one of the guys who's in the band runs it. He's down there, so we have Game Over Brazil. They were talking about one in Hong Kong. We're talking about one in Japan. We have Team Japan already, who brings in composers and other guests from Japan, and we're working on it. I don't know, maybe here if we can. Otherwise, it might be Germany or somewhere in the UK. But we're trying. It just takes a while because we don't have sponsors. And right now, the big one, the flagship event, carries all of these. Like, these don't make money. This loses money. So this will make us a lot of money, and then I'm sorry, I touched it. I keep touching it. I'm gonna stop touching it. And West it loses us money. So until this becomes a vehicle like this one. They break even, and that's about it. They're not paying my salary or nothing. So
maybe you should tell us how much it gets.
How much money?
No, tickets, the entrance.
We just changed it. So before, we're used to being broke, right? So we would give incentives for people to pre-reg so that we knew how much money we had ahead of time, because we weren't sure how many people we would get. Like, we can guess when we start looking at the graph, right? So we used to do like the first month or something, it would be like $55, right? And then the next month, it would go up another $5, and then another $5, and another. So we have a huge influx of people in the very last hour of the month, and it would just be like this spike. Huh?
How much is it going?
So that's changed over time. This past year, that was the incentive, was to pre-reg, it was the lower cost. This last year, we didn't realize. We squished we put the price by getting a badge with the hotel room. There's only so many hotel rooms in the Gaylord and around in National Harbor, so they're like really sought after. But we didn't realize that by connecting them, it would mess us up so badly. I'm not kidding. Last year was a disaster for launch because we sold for like 2 months worth of tickets in 4 hours last year, and the price went up because we still had the pricing tiers. So if someone tried to sign up at $59, but then it moved to $69 already, or they signed up at $59 and it took so long for our server to like keep up that it then became $79. So right now we just opened launch Tuesday, like the day I got here, and so now it's 75 across the board. It's a 75 until the event, and then I think it's 80 or 85. And that's 4 days. There's other like anime conventions that are bigger, 3 days, and are like $100. And we're like,
Are there other tickets like for 1 day or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, we usually have them for 1 day, and they might be like 60 for Saturday, and then I don't know, like 30 for Sunday or something. It's by adding 4 days, Friday is like another Saturday. It's really wild, actually, because you get there on Thursday, and that's like your Friday, but then you're there on Friday, and it feels like Saturday, but then you still have Saturday. How nice. And then everybody goes home on Sunday. And it's, we're so big now. It's the growth rate once we got to the Gaylord, and the Gaylord is absolutely enormous. We don't deserve it. It's too nice.
2,000 rooms, something like that.
Yeah, it has 1,900 rooms.
Are there any sponsors that just want to give you money and nothing in return?
If you find any sponsors, you should tell Riverwash that do that. No, like sometimes we'll work with companies to like get us stuff for the charity auction, so they can go through that. We've had other ones, like ThinkGeek has come in and just handed out their leftover merch to people. They'll just like they like bring 5 boxes of rando stuff, and then they'll set up in the corner, and then like within an hour, like handed everything out to people. We got a bunch of stuff from Sanchi and just like leftover stuff that they just don't. It's like old and they can't sell it anymore. I'm like, okay, we'll just give it away. Or we do charity. And box deduction? Tax deduction. We don't pay taxes. It's tax deduction for them. Yeah, sorry.
Away for free.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then it gets rid of their inventory, and then they make people happy. It's like a lot of wins. And we like wins. Wins are great. Who doesn't like a win? Many wins. And sunshine. Oh man, we need sunshine to breathe. Because there's not enough of that in January when we're inside and it's cold and it's overcast and stuff. That's my info. If anybody ever wants me, there you go. Question. That is not me. That's the. He's from Japan. He made the music for Katamari Damacy, and he's also a DJ. So he was up on the DJ. He was playing music for all these people, and they were dancing around. Yes.
So Steph, from what you've told, I see you right now as a queen of demo scene in the United States, but you never told us what was your ignition, how you started, why you had this idea, why you started to do MAGFest.
Oh, why I started to do MAGFest?
How it started for you? What was your
MAGFest started for me or the
to organizing MAGFest?
Okay, so I went with a friend of mine to this really kind of crappy event, and while I was there, my friend introduced me to Brendan, the guy who ran MAGFest at the time, and I met him, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to come and help out?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, sure." So I will help work in your registration, because reg is super fun to work in. It's because you see everybody, you get to meet everybody who walks in the door, and you get to say, "Hi, how are you?" and write your name down, and I can always look up your name later when I forget it.
How big is the team?
How big is the team? Oh God, we are huge now. It used to be 15, 20 of us maybe 30. And now it's like the core of us might be about 200. And we're like year round, guys. With all those other events and stuff, we're basically year round. And then
you're not counting volunteers.
The volunteers at the actual event is like 1,400. Because we give benefits to volunteers. We'll do, like, if you work a certain number of hours, you get your free badge. So we refund your money. You work some more hours, and we'll give you a T-shirt. You work some more hours. You don't get it usually on your first day, on your first year. But if you prove and be like, yes, I'm committed. I showed up to all my shifts. I'm doing, I care, and I want to be involved. The next year, you will move from volunteer to staff volunteer. So now you could, depending on how many hours you worked, you can get a space in a hotel room. So, it's just half a bed and a shower, but it matters, right? So now you can work and have fun at MAGFest and have a place to sleep, and you don't have to pay for it because you're working.
Is there a legal entity behind the event, or?
Yes. Oh, fun. Yeah, thank you for all these questions, because I have never done this, actually. So, thank you. We used to have an LLC, and we called it the Quad, and it was Brendan and like 3 other guys, and they would handle things. The problem was they weren't really handling things. We didn't pay taxes for many years. So the LLC was, it's a limited liability company. I don't know how other countries work. Sorry. Okay, that. Yes, awesome. And then we had one of these guys rise up. His name is Dominic Cerquetti. He's their buddy Dom. And he's like, I'm just going to do a bunch of stuff. He's a programmer, and he's a musician, and he just has a leadership mind, and charismatic and optimistic, sometimes too optimistic. But he came in, and he was just, he started looking at how we were doing the books, how we were doing everything, and he learned accounting. He learned insurance. He learned about legal stuff. He got people to lined up to help us. So we have a lawyer now. We have an actual accountant. We have all these things. It's usually people he knows through other people, because he's that kind of person. Like Faye, we just know people, and then through those people you know people, and it's just this great big networking thing, right? Because it's a community. That's all MAGFest is a community. So from there, he turned us. We killed the LLC, thankfully, and we became incorporated. So we're far more structured, and we became a nonprofit through the IRS. We had to prove to them that video games are art. And we had the Smithsonian behind us too, so we had to ask them to write letters to help us become a nonprofit, because they just didn't believe us, because we're so much entertainment, like you could see with the gaming and stuff. But it's really hard to prove something like that we're not so much entertainment, because that's what music is and that's what gaming is, but it's all art at the same time, and the only way to experience it is to experience it. Maybe that it's interactive, right? So that's the only way to do it. So you get a bunch of stiffs in an office that don't understand that, and they have to we have to change their minds and to show them in such a way that it's yes, it's all art, and we deserve to be a nonprofit and not pay taxes. So all of this happened, and then we realized that all this stuff Dom couldn't do without being paid, because he couldn't keep putting off a real job in order to do it. So we started to pay him, and he was our first employee of MAGFest, Inc. And from that, he had too much on his plate, so we started hiring more people. We hired someone else and me. And so in 5 days is my 4-year anniversary of being hired. But I was a volunteer for 9 years before that.
Is the business structure from here, or you are doing this on your own?
I paid for all this on my own. I did ask for some money, so we'll see. We'll see if that comes through. But that's not up to me, because I have a conflict of interest. So I can't actually make that decision. So I not only asked for like half of my plane ticket back, because some of this is MAGFest, but most of this is just me. Just, I want to hang out and have fun with my friends. It's really it. And care and bring the demo party back and that sort of thing. That doorknob is just not a happy doorknob. But that's the legal stuff. And so now there's 6 of us who are paid. And we have a COO, we have a CEO. I'm working on becoming CFO because I'm administrator and I'm accounting, and I'm still division director of programming, and I do a lot of stuff. I bring in guests. I somehow have a lot of power. I don't think about. I don't think about using, because it's all within the scope of MAGFest. So in the real world, I don't know how I would do. But in MAGFest, I'm very ambitious and so when you asked, I met Brendan and I went and I worked in Reg, and then I saw what it was doing to Brendan, and he would just get no sleep as an organizer, and he would sleep under the table in ConOps. And I'm just and he'd get 3 hours. Exactly, it's totally normal, you understand. But as a single guy, or doing the whole thing, he didn't have 10 people as much behind. You have 10 people. No, he didn't have as many people. So we all, after number 4, we all kind of rose up. My background came from, I used to make yearbooks in high school and college. So I understood publication, that sort of thing. So when he made a program book in 3 hours before it went to print, I was not impressed, to say the least. So I looked at it, and he was, so we had bands and guests, and he was just taking pictures from the internet and writing the bios himself. And I'm like, nope, that's not okay. That's not okay. We can't, nope, not anymore. So I took all that stuff from him. So I got the content, and I took a community class. I paid to take a community class to learn how to use Adobe Illustrator. And then and I got InDesign and I got Photoshop, so I could learn how to make the program book. And then I had to get all the stuff out of Brendan's brain, so he would book people, the bands and the guests and stuff, and then I would get their contact information. He would take care of their hotel, anything that involved money. He took care of their hotels and their travel or whatever. If we even paid them, we didn't even pay them in the beginning. We couldn't pay anybody, because we couldn't do anything. We had no money. So bands would just come and they would just play, and we would just get them a hotel room, and that would be it, if we were lucky. And so he took care of that, and I took the contact information, and then I would contact them about getting their badges, getting their pick and bio, getting their, if they want a marketplace table to sell their stuff, what panels they wanted, all sorts of stuff, all that. And so I would help make the schedule. So understand that this snowballed really quickly for me. I'm making the program book, I'm getting all this content to put in the program book, I'm communicating with all these people, and things just sort of spiraled out of control at some point where I'm working all-nighters, and I care a lot about this thing. And my mom thought I was, wow, are you still up? Did you go to sleep? No, Mom. And because I would visit, because so the thing, I have to explain why it's in January. At one point in the early days, it was in October, back in the day. And what we do with the hotel is again, we're broke. So we, our attendees, we're used to just being broke nerds. And so we want to make it as inexpensive for the attendees as possible. So we go to the hotel and we say, when's your deadest time? You pick the dates, you keep our hotel room costs real low, and we will sell this many, okay? So they pick the dates. So that's why they're so crappy. But like I said, there's no fear of having a demo party at the same time. Yeah? So I don't have to worry about that, because no one wants to have a demo party in January.
Well, yes, but not at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great, but now I want to come to a party in January.
No, I'm sorry. Thank you. Because and even if oh God, everybody, yes, it's a lot like this. We have lots of room parties. There's lots of drinking. There's lots of just walking around and just having a good time. Because you can get up at You could just not sleep until, 5 a.m. or something, and there'll be a ton of other people awake and up and doing stuff. Right? And then, and really the best time to get to the arcade area is like 8 a.m. because there's like no lines. It's awesome.
No lines, not like no people.
There's no people, no lines.
Schedule 24 hours.
The entire time. It doesn't matter what, you pick when you want to sleep. Just make sure you take a shower. Make sure you care about your hygiene because that cares about the other people around you. But we do try to be and we try to encourage 5 hours of sleep and 1 shower and at least 2 meals. We're you got to remember to eat, things like that. It's, because we went to 4 days and we're all getting older, so we'll just get tired faster. Our bodies don't rebound the way they used to the next morning, and it gets kind of rough. Yeah.
But I can say that when you have a jet lag, like we come in there,
Oh, God.
it's very practical because you wake up at 4 a.m. and the machines are...
Yeah, everything is going, except for panels. But if you don't want to go to a panel, we have things going on constantly, and then we have scheduled stuff. So our biggest complaint really is that there's too much stuff going on at the same time, and then they have to choose. I'll be all right, that's the biggest complaint. Not a bad problem to have, really. So we've just grown so much, and I want to continue to grow. And I saw something in the demo party. I saw when Faye and Jakob came over, and I'm just what is this thing? This is really cool. And understanding it, and then Brendan came in behind us and just yeah, this is just like it used to be. And I'm just shit, yeah, that's great. I love this. So let's all join together and just keep things rolling and have fun. I really like because it's super technical and I can't do it. I am not a tech person at all. That's why I talk to people and I do spreadsheets and I do emails. That is my whole job. Oh, well, and I guess accounting software now. But that's been my whole thing this whole time, learning how to make a program book, that sort of thing. I made 2 program books 2 years in a row, so 5 and 6. And then somebody else wanted to make it, but then they wanted me to get the content. So I got all the content and I gave it to them, that I didn't realize that I'd created a guest coordinator position. It just out of the air, I just made this thing. So we worked together to do that, and then I just kept doing it. And then when Brendan stepped down after 9, when we first went to the Gaylord, he stepped down, and there was nobody else. So I stepped up to be guest director, but I was still guest coordinator. So I did a lot of work. And there was a point where we stopped after the 3,000 one. After we hit 3,000 people and we moved to the Gaylord, there was, we had a program book still, but it cost us $6,000 to make, right? And there was 3,000 people. We're and it takes so much time to put the thing together. Our president, he's no more. We're not having any more program books. No more. So I'm but we still need something. We still need something. So we looked at PAX again, that Penny Arcade Expo people, and they use this online app on your phone called Guidebook. So I put I contacted them, and I'm all right, we need the same thing those guys have, because I have guests and we have bands. We need to promote. We need to tell people about the schedule. I mean, come on. We need something. So I started making the program book too. So I've done a lot. I'm very tired. Hi.
Yeah, I wanted to add that it's really the same as Katowice, which runs the slides here, comes from those from the people revision. People is not here. But it's for everybody, you can use it. So now it's kind of standard as parties. So it's also sharing technology and know-how.
Yeah, you can check yourself in and then hang out with your connect with your friends through the app and stuff like that. There's a ton of cool things. But yeah, so I was guest director. I became division director of programming because I kept creating more departments, and that's me. Yeah, see, this is what I mean by I'm ambitious, but only in this box of MAGFest, because I kept creating things. So we have this room called the Arena. We had this, there's this great game called JS Joust. Anybody? It's Johann Sebastian Joust. So basically, it's like, it's the old game where you have a cup of water, and everybody has like a cup of water or something, but they use PS3 Move controllers. So they're the thing with the ball on it, and they play Bach music, and it goes at different speeds. So what you have to do is work. There's another person, so like you're trying to be the one who doesn't spill your water. You're trying to be the one that doesn't move your Move controller and turn the ball from green to red. So you're trying to knock theirs over without knocking yours over, right? And the speed of the music says how fast your feet are supposed to go. So you're constantly moving around trying to do this thing. And yeah, see? Yeah, it's fun, right? It's hard, too. Like, you get somebody who knows how to move around. No, don't do it at home. No, it's a group game. You need a space, and that's the point. So I made the Arena as this big room, because we had panel rooms and stuff like this. But we don't have like a single big room. It's just open with a PA. So I did that. And now that's a whole department, and people just stick more things in there. We have like cosplay chess that goes in there. We have a yoga. Yoga for gamers goes in there. Yeah, blah, blah. Things come from all over the place. And I don't stop them. I just, instead of saying, no, that's ridiculous, why on earth would we do that? I go, how can we do that? And so I created this room, and now it's a department. We have LARP. LARP was just like some guys that came in and ran a bunch of LARPs, and then I made them a department, so now they have a budget and they can like do things, and got them a room, like they're official. I created this thing called Rock Island. Between the music, bands would usually get a table and they would sell their stuff, and we give them a free table in our marketplace area. But the marketplace would be upset because the bands didn't always want to sell. They wouldn't be there as long as the rest of the vendors were, who paid to be there to sell their stuff, or the artists and vendors. So there'd be like these empty tables, and the marketplace would be really upset about it. But then the musicians, they don't want to sell, so because they're artists. Artists should be selling stuff. It's just like it's counterintuitive to the way they think. I don't like it. So I made this thing instead where it's Rock Island and it's a department. So MAGFest sells the band merch for them. And they don't have to, they're not in the marketplace. We have like a whole other section for Rock Island. So it's another department, it's another group of staffers. MAGFest doesn't keep any of the money. We pay the taxes to the state for the bands. Like, we take care of everything. They just have to get us their stuff. They just have to communicate ahead of time to get us their stuff. And that doesn't always happen. But we have to like poke them, prod them. It's like, we're not selling your stuff if you don't tell us. So we have to be organized. I don't know. And that's what I've been doing. I just keep creating stuff. And I need to hand off and delegate more and then become CFO. That's where I am. And coming to Poland and finding the demo party to create yet another department at MAGFest. So you must be tired of, it's been an hour. I'm gonna go now. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was me. So I'll be around here until the end of Sunday or whatever. I don't leave till like 6 a.m. on Monday. So come say hi. I'm around. Thanks. Here you go.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to add, because thank you very much. I just wanted to add, because you may be thinking how we connected, like why and how. You know? So because of this guy sitting there, yeah, he worked at the Polish Cultural Institute in New York, and because he's a senior, he thought, yes, hey. So he thought, let's introduce Polish demo scene or demo scene at all to culture officially, through the institute, through our embassy. And then he contacted Argasek and told him that they need two people to come and talk about demo scene. And Argasek thought of me, for which I'm really grateful. And we went to States. I couldn't believe it that somebody would just pay me to go and talk about demo scene, but it happened. And then we went with Maku, who made a great job of the workshop with Shader Toy. It was really great, really creative. Many people created shaders and they were competing. We had some technical issues. I think we would have had like 15 entries if not for the issues. And, well, in a few months, we'll be organizing a party. So it's third time, and it's like incredible. Yeah, no, I'm not retired yet. Maybe I'm here, you know. But I just thought, because you said Brazil, you're thinking about Japan, maybe one day Poland. MAGFest Poland, or at least Game Over Poland. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, well, we don't have an event like that, so, okay, never mind. Thank you, Steph. Thank you very much.